Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 84th show of Get Out of Rap TV. It's the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. Thank you for joining. If you're a regular viewer, I appreciate your continued support. If you're brand new, then please do get involved and say hello in the comments. Keep your comments coming through all the way through the show. We've got a lot lined up for you today in what is our show all about contact centers and other random stuff, such is our way. I couldn't do this show or anything else without my partners. So huge thanks. I do some really interesting work with them as well as their back into this show. And that starts with DDC outsourcing solutions, then Evaluagent, and we have OneCom and Better Outsourcing. Thank you all very much. And I did the points all the way through without any any mistake this time. We're coming to that time of year as well where people are looking at budgets. If you have a company that would like to get involved with Get Out of Rap or the team leader community, please do get in touch. Our first comment. Kate, hello. Kate, who has just joined, Gary Gormley and Fab. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And also the team leader community. Great to see you here. Let's get going. Now, don't forget as well, as in your comments section, next to that, you have networking. And on networking, it gives you the opportunity to connect with other people to build up your own network. And we have become a little bit of a community here, haven't we? So, oh, look, they're all coming in now. Jordan, good morning, mate. Now, Jordan is an awesome, awesome leader. And as of my understanding, Jordan, it might have changed because I know people are going to be snapping you up. But if it's my understanding that you are available for new roles up in the kind of Manchestery type area, an exceptional, exceptional leader and human being. Please do make sure you get in touch with Jordan and let him know of any opportunities. Also, a legend is Scott. Good morning, mate. Good morning. Now, we always kick off with a bit of an icebreaker, don't we? So, here we go. What is the one bit of advice you would give to the 18-year-old version of you? What would you go back in time and say, hey, 18-year-old Kate, Jordan, Scott, anyone else watching, or Martin, what would you what's the one bit of advice? You can only give one bit, but what is the one bit of advice you would give to the 18-year-old you? And Jordan is still available by choice so far, as keeping his options open, whether that's team leader, sales, any kind of position in a contact center. Jordan is an absolute star. So please do get in touch with Jordan about any roles that you've seen or you may have. So, but let's get going. If you are watching and you're, oh, I should say as well, let me just get a banner going. If your comments are not showing, I'm not ignoring you. Please just refresh LinkedIn. Make sure you come back. Sometimes there's a bit of a misconnection between LinkedIn and StreamYard. So, what was the one bit of advice you would give to the 18-year-old version of you? Do get these comments in. Let's see. What of your years taught? Oh, great. Alan is here. Good morning, Alan. Great to see you. Head of contact center at Golf World, Alan. Oh, look, Kerry is here. Good morning, Kerry Sudale. Now, Kerry is the latest guest on Get Out of Rap, where she talks about the candidate experience. That episode is out and available. So Kerry is here. It's a great episode. I was just giggling at Neris's comment here. So the very first bit of advice for the 18-year-old you from the Industry legend that is Neris Caulfield. If you insist on drinking Smirnoff Ice, then you have to brush your teeth before bed. I love it. Thank you, Alan. Clubhouse Golf. Clubhouse Golf. Jordan's bit of advice that he would give himself, an 18-year-old, is invest in crypto. Kerry's would be do not, repeat, do not continue plucking those brows. I love it. Classic. We have an author amongst us. Dara Kiernan. Morning all. Sorry I'm late. No problem. You haven't missed anything, Dara. We are just into the icebreaker. Do check out Dara's profile. He does some great stuff. He's written a brilliant book about leadership. It's very funny. Dara, please do feel free to share the link in here. It's great that one of our own is out there as an author, and we should all support that. Another great guy here, Darren Crook. Hello, my friend. Good morning. So we've had some advice, haven't we? We're not going to pluck brows. We are going to invest in crypto. And if you are going to drink Smirnoff Ice, brush your teeth before bed. So what other advice would you give the 18-year-old version of yourself? You could go back in time, take yourself by the shoulders and say one thing to them. What would it be? Mine would probably be don't wait too long before you shave your head. I had, believe it or not, very long curly hair, and but a high foreline, forehead, hairline. That's it. And Alan, you read my mind. Look, don't take your hair for granted. I probably hung on to my long curly hair for too long. Darren's coming in with a really good one, actually. Care less about what other people think of you. Focus on doing the right thing for you. Very, very true. If I was going to do a serious one, it would be worry less. Worry less. Darren loves Alan's comment there. Spencer is here, the legend. I expect you to cruise your car like a careful turtle and ditch those speedy phone calls from the police. I love it. Scott Williams says, look after your well-being, look after your hearing. Oh, and the timing belt on that imported Mitsubishi FTO you're looking at is about to snap and turn the engine into many expensive pieces. I love it. There, we are all enjoying each other's comments here. This is brilliant. Dara says, thanks, Martin. It's called Free Fall, Leadership Lessons from the Skies. And it's about the lessons I learned whilst learning how to skydive and how I turned those lessons into leadership insights. More details here. And P.S. Grow a mullet while you still can. And Dara has shared the link where you can get the book. It seems for those of us that are now follically challenged, our hair has a big part to play, doesn't it? I did shave mine when I went to uni, but I probably could have done it a bit sooner. It was going, and I held on to it for a bit too long. We are all off and running, which is great. Hold on, Darren says, Neris Caulfield. Oh God, the memories. £1 a bottle. Those were the days. Lol. Yeah, don't get me started on that. Early adulthood drinking. Marianne is here, the awesome Marianne, who did a great masterclass in the team leader community a couple of weeks ago. Hello all. Sorry I'm late. I would tell my 18-year-old self, be yourself. I do it now, but did not at the time. Very true, isn't it? Very, very true. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I am hold on, Mark's got a good one. Don't be a Pompey fan, it's painful. I was going to say something, Mark. It's great to see you, Mark Iverson. I was going to say something about Tottenham, but the damage had already been done. I was a Tottenham fan from birth. I had no choice. Spencer says, "Did you even survive a rock festival when you were 18?" Scott Williams, he's asking there, rock and roll. Um, I think I did. I think I was at a lot of gigs and things, but can't always remember them. Now, as I was saying, over in the US, well, I was saying I'm a bit of a geek around politics. It was what I did my degree in. I've always had an interest in it. And I'm sure, like many of you, you are watching with interest everything that's happening in the US over the pond. Today is their election day, and we haven't done this for a while, but I thought we'd have just a bit of fun. But it's your chance to get involved and have your say. So there you go. Follow those instructions. Um, Go to menti.com and enter the code 22143982 or use the QR code on the screen. For those of you listening on the podcast later, unfortunately, you won't be able to do this, but I'm very interested in this question. So, if you could vote in the US election, who would you vote for? Obviously, this is nothing to do with contact centers um, or CX, but it's just a seminal moment in the history of the world, isn't it, really? So I'm just interested, if you could vote in the US elections, who would you vote for? Thank you, whoever's cast their first vote. This is your opportunity to say who you would vote for, and your choices are Kamala Harris, neither candidate, or Donald Trump. So I will leave this up for a second whilst I just have a quick drink. Sugar free. I know it's not very healthy, but sugar free Monster is where I'm at this morning. Oh, let me go back. Sorry, what's the code again? There you go. Alan, hopefully that helps. Um, It is 22143982. Uh, I'm like you, Neris. Neris says, I'm not sure I'm going to sleep tonight. I will be up. I'm looking forward to all of the coverage. Um, it's sure to be very interesting, to say the least. Um, it is it's on a knife edge, isn't it? And it seems very, very fraught over there. Hopefully you have that code. Let's see if so. Currently, we have Kamala is in the lead. We have 6 votes for Kamala, 1 for Donald Trump. I will leave this up a couple more. Oh, now we have 8-1. There is another option with this as well. If you go to world polls, there's currently a world poll on this election live, and you can go and have a look. That's very interesting. It seems the for the rest of the world, it is certainly not as close as it is for those in the US, which is interesting in itself, isn't it? How we view the candidates externally versus how they are viewed within their own country. So a bit of a landslide there. I'm sure it's not going to be as clear as that. I'm going to keep my views to myself. I'm the host, and I think that's the right thing to do, right? So now then, thank you for that. You indulged me. You indulged me there. So here is our question of the day. Now, at this time of year, I'm sure, like me, you can't every day there is an article that says, what are yes, okay, I can't help myself. Scott, I'm with you on this one. I wish it was like this in reality. Um, but we all have different viewpoints, don't we? And I think it would be nice. I think we all agree, both here and in the US, it would be nice to return to a time of respectful discourse, even with people you disagree with. It seems that politics is going very divisive, very kind of uh, aggressive, which is very, very disappointing to see. Anyway, as I was saying, you see at this time of year predictions or what will the trends be for 2025? And I would like to take a different spin on that. And this is our question of the day. What would you like to see start, stop, and continue in contact centers in 2025? What are the things you think as an industry we should start doing? What are the things as an industry you think we should continue doing? And what are the things you'd like to see us stop doing? Um, I think, Neris, was it you I was talking to who said we should stop um, talking about the misperception of contact centers? Something I'm guilty of for sure. You know, I talk about, well, I wish the public had the same view or a more accurate view of what our industry is like. But is continuing to say that helpful? Probably not. It would certainly gave me pause for thought. That's something I would stop. I'd like to stop doing. Let's just forget about that. We know what the perception is. Let's do something about it. But what would you like to see starting in our industry? What would you like to see stopping in our industry? And what would you like to see continuing in our industry? I'm asking you guys to do a lot of work today, aren't I? Sorry about that. um, for me, I think I would like to see start. Good. I was going to say good question. Yeah, I wrote it. um, I would like to see us start looking at the terminology, looking at changing whether our language, certainly whether it's titles, um, maybe better reflects, or we cast aside some of the things that might have negative connotations. Spencer is kicking us off, and he's kicking us off with a cracker. Spencer says, I would like to see the start of more advanced AI technologies that can better understand and respond to the diverse needs of disabled consumers. Spencer Collins with a cracker there. Dead right, Spencer. We've got to utilize this technology to be more inclusive, more responsive, and more customer centric when it comes to, as you say, the diverse needs of disabled consumers. And no one flies that flag better than you. Alan is off and running. Sorry, Alan Donaghy. Stop being obsessed with numbers. Start becoming obsessed with people. Continue to allow technology to evolve, but not lead. What a great sentence. You've managed to hit all three in one. So that is a birdie, Alan, isn't it? You've hit a birdie there. Just to repeat that, stop being obsessed with numbers, start becoming obsessed with people, and continue to allow technology to evolve but not lead. What a cracker. What about everyone else? What would you like to see starting in 2025? What would you like to see stopping in 2025? And what would you like to see continuing in 2025? I should have done the same one for LinkedIn. That might have got some quicker, more emotive responses. Now, Dara is here. Dara says, start with more human centered AI, stop relying on traditional metrics and operating in silos, and continue with better employee development and focusing on customers' needs. Move in the direction of customer upwards rather than boardroom down. That is a cracker. I love it. Start with more human-centered AI. Stop relying on stop relying on traditional metrics and operating in silos, and continue with better employee development. Love it. Darren Crook completely agrees with Alan Donaghy's point there, with his very succinct and spot-on sentence. Marianne Marianne says, I would like organizations to follow the people policies they write and actually mean them. Marianne, I couldn't agree more. Marianne Withers there. Too often there's a big discrepancy, isn't there? And I think some of the time, one of the tests is you ask people what certain people policies say within their centre, they don't know. They haven't been used, and they're not part of the DNA, and that is then reflected in your policies. It's just the policies sit separately to the reality, don't they? What would you like to see start, stop, and continue in contact centers in 2025, which is just round the corner? Um, Already, people are talking about Christmas, included in this house. I am by no means a Grinch. I love Christmas, but not on the 1st of November. And it's a busy time of year for our industry, isn't it? Certainly November is. Oh, Katie is here. The amazing Katie from Red Recruitment, Katie Forsyth. Start to see the industry more simply. Do what we do really well and shout about it. I love that. More positive headlines about our successes, please. Stop over talking and obsessing on the tech challenges rather than the ongoing tech advances and successes. Continue to support and celebrate our people and the brilliant job they do. Yes, love that. Love that, Katie. And it's great to see you. Let me just repeat that. Start to see the industry more simply. I love that. Do what we do really well and shout about it. More positive headlines about our successes, please. Stop over talking and obsessing on the tech challenges rather than the ongoing tech advances and successes. Continue to support and celebrate our people and the brilliant job they do. Um, I made a point saying I should have done this about LinkedIn, and Spencer's right on the money here. Many people on LinkedIn are currently unemployed, and I'm optimistic about the increase in job opportunities that will arise in 2025. Me too. I certainly hope that is the case. You know, I do my weekly list of fellow professionals that are looking for new roles. I'll be coming up to 10 years of doing that, believe it or not. I did take a bit of a break once for about 3 months, but I've been doing that for about 10 years. And people say, oh, I do hope the list goes down, which kind of misses the point. Uh, I'm limited by the number of people I can tag, actually. You can only tag a set number of people on LinkedIn, and that determines the number of people I can add to the list. So a couple of people last week got new jobs, which was brilliant. So they came off the list, but I've got people waiting to come on. So they came on. The number's always going to be the same. The length of the list doesn't indicate jobs or lack of them or an abundance of them. But yes, I certainly with you on that one, Spencer. I do hope that we see more opportunities in 2025 because it is a difficult time of the year for people to be out of work. So, if you are still typing this, please don't worry. I will include it. But moving on swiftly, as I said, it is a. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Scott's coming in. Scott Williams, stop. Companies who continue to claim that their queues are due to higher than normal volumes. Absolutely couldn't agree more. Continue embracing AI to support staff, not replace them. Love it. Start. Step away from considering contact center roles as a stepping stone, stopgap choice. Three great points there, Scott. Um, Darren Crook says, start helping the C-suites of the world realize that AI is not going to remove all contact from customers. Stop focusing on the savings and focus on the revenue generating from amazing human experiences in brackets with tech to support and help drive efficiency end brackets. Great points there. Great point. Revenue generating from amazing human experience. I love it, Darren. Um, Dara says contact centers in 2025, where the AI is smarter, the hold music's catchier, and your call is very important to us, is still the best joke we tell. Hold music could do with an upgrade, couldn't it? Come on. Um, Marianne says, let's hope companies also start to recruit more 57 plus year olds who seem to be ignored by 50% of recruiters. And Marianne, you've been writing recently on LinkedIn, haven't you, about ageism? Um, and it really shouldn't matter in this day and age at any end of the age spectrum, should it? So, couldn't agree more. We need to see an end to. Be nice to see an end to all isms in 2025. Spencer agrees with Darren. Very well said, says Spencer. Yeah, do please keep the start, stop, continue coming. It's a lovely exercise. I'm doing one in the team leader community at the moment. Now, I said November is a really super busy time of year for us, isn't it? We've got awards, we've got conferences, and we've got the expo, the 27th and 28th of November. Why not drop in the comments if you are going? I am going to be doing two things. On day one, I'm hosting a panel about the evolving contact center with some wonderful guests, thankfully, because no one wants to hear from me. But on day two, you are going to have to hear from me. So day two, keynote theatre, 11:40 to 12:10. I do hope you can come. I am going to be following on the keynote the wonderful Neris. So here's what I'd say: go to watch Neris and learn something, and then stay just to see me mess about. It would be great if you can be there. I've got some very special things planned. It should be entertaining at the very least. Plus, I'm very very pleased that I will be following Neris. She is a legend, and I'm hoping all of the audience she brings stays along, as well as speaking there, because I have helped the wonderful Call and Contact Centre Expo team with some of their content, just giving them some advice, really. But it's not been much, to be honest with you, because they are all over it. They're doing some great stuff, especially on LinkedIn. But because of that, I do have a stand. Managing expectations here. If you were at the expo last year, you knew I had Wilson, the shopping trolley. If Wilson is still there, then I will grab him, and he will make an appearance. You will be amazed at the expo with the amount of money people spend on making it entertaining, having real eye-turning stuff. You know, there's some people's stands are amazing. They have some great freebies. My stand is going to have none of that. Okay. My stand was given to me as a favor. I can't remember what its location code is, but you will know it because all I'm going to bring is some captain's chairs, some, the camping chairs. I'm just going to bring them. I've got a bit of a roll up board that has the team leader community and get out a rap logo on it. That's it. Going to have that little board and just chairs, so we can meet and have a seat. I won't sell anything to you, I promise, but it is just a chance for us to take a seat. I'm not even sure if I'm going to have freebies. Yes, Darren, the shopping trolley. I love it. And as Spencer says, it's Movember, not November. Are you doing it, Spencer? If so, why not drop in if you have a link? Drop it in here. Dara agrees with Marianne. Marianne, I'll only agree if you drop it to plus 54-year-olds, please. Ah, Katie will be there. Brilliant. I'll definitely be there to see you and Neris talk on day two. Oh, that's great. Thank you very much. Gary says you'll get no oil offers this year. If you've If you've heard the podcast I did with Kerry, we talk about a very strange interaction we had with someone who turns out he wanted to offer us the chance to invest in 150 barrels of oil. Where- There's always something bizarre that happens at the expo, isn't it? You're not bringing the hoodies this year. I couldn't get my size last year. I will. I can order you one though, Kerry. I don't plan on. I want to go light this year. Um, in my recollection of last year, your stand was probably the best because of the great conversations and lack of sales. Ah, thank you, sir. That's very kind. Spencer is going. I'm going to the expo because I remembered that I bought my first hoodie from you last year. However, I was disappointed to see that people had taken all the Haribo sweets from your trolley that you discovered in the parking lot. Maybe I'll bring some sweets again. I'm going camping theme this year, Spencer. So we're going to have a an empty stand just with some camping chairs. And okay, I'll bring Haribo. How about that? We'll have some Haribo. Now, just very quickly, uh, we are up to 434 members of the team leader community. There's a few of you in this chat actually that are members. I'd love to get us to 500 by the end of the year. So even if you don't want to join, maybe you know people that do. Please, can you send them my way? It's only through networking and LinkedIn that I advertise. It's just it's a solo venture, but the community is a wonderful place to help team leaders and all leaders really in our industry. And if you can help me in any way, then please do let me know. This is a good question, Spencer. No, unfortunately, he's not. I daren't say his name because it's getting close to his WALK. He's not. Albeit later today, I am going to be on Sandra Thompson's podcast, Emotional Podcast, I think it's called, all about dogs. So he will be getting a lot of airtime today. So we haven't done this for a while, and I have got a new VT, but it is time for. It's the read along where we are going through Contact Babel's UK Decision Makers Guide to. Did I say that right? Yeah, Contact Centers Decision Makers Guide, based on a survey of all of them, like 400. And we are up to whether there are concerns about external fraud. And this is a caller pretending to be another person by vertical market. Stick with me on this because once we've gone through these slides, next week they get really interesting. They're all people based. I'm not saying this isn't interesting, but as a people based person, this is less interesting than the sections we've got coming up next week. But let's have a look at this. So the red is very concerned, pink is somewhat concerned, yellow is a little concerned, green is unconcerned. So in these verticals, are people concerned about someone pretending to be another person? Utilities seem very concerned, as do transport and travel, outsourcing, retail and distribution, and insurance. I'm not surprised by insurance. I'm surprised by some of the others. Is this or has this been a concern where you are right now or in contact centers you have seen? And what measures do you have in place to combat this? Is this something your team members raise to you often? And how do you guard against it? Of course, we have ID and V, but people can still get past that, can't they? I remember being a team leader. I've had some very awkward conversations with people who didn't sound like they were Mr. or Mrs. They sounded like they were Mrs. or Mr. And that was very tricky to navigate after one of my team members raised a concern that it might be someone impersonating our customer. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Or does it need to be? Who knows? Okay, now we go on to the contentious. Oh, if you've got any thoughts on this though, please do drop them in the comments. I'll give you a second while I. The Great Starling Bank advert with James Nesbitt highlights why this should be a concern. I can't remember that one, Scott, but you have intrigued me now. I will definitely YouTube that afterwards. Highlights why this should be a concern. Could you expand, please, my friend? Um, it should be a concern, shouldn't it? We certainly, it will be the contact center that gets it in the neck when things start to go wrong if we haven't got the right checks and balances in place to prevent this happening. But you can see on average, 11% of the respondents were very concerned, 37% was somewhat concerned. So it is an area of concern for the decision makers in our industry. And you wonder how technology can address that. Oh, look, Scott's dropped the link in there. You are quick, sir. Thank you very much. Now we go on to oh, hold on. Spencer says, when discussing concerns regarding external fraud, do you have any statistics related to disabled consumers? There were none. I'd take this in sort of sequential order, Spencer. But again, you raise a really interesting point, and I would recommend, or I'm happy to, um, getting in touch with Steve Morel maybe around how we include disabled consumers into the next version or the one after. Um, Scott says for his YouTube for after the show. Thank you, sir. Um, Marianne is replying to Dara. Yep, can do that for you. My view is that everyone should get equal chance, whether you are 17 or 100. Absolutely agree. Now, concerns about internal employee fraud by contact center size. So we have small, medium, and large contact centers. And there's often the case in when they differentiate by size of contact center, there seems to be a big difference in some of the opinions out there from the decision makers. If you are in a large contact center, you are seemingly more concerned about internal employee fraud than you are in a small one. Now, is that because you feel, if you're the decision maker, you feel like you know the employees better because there's less of them? Is it that simple? Because if you are in a large contact center, 10% of the respondents said they're very concerned about internal employee fraud. 19% were somewhat concerned. 52% were a little concerned. I just must have been very, very naive. And I've worked in financial services and either naive or not complacent, but confident in the measures that we had and the team that we had, where I wasn't concerned. I would have been in the green. I would have been unconcerned. If you're in a small contact center, 59% of the leaders polled were unconcerned with internal employee fraud. I have to say, in all of my career leading contact centers, that I can count on one hand the amount of time we had people doing nefarious things, let's say. Darren says, be interesting to see this split by industry. Now, do I have that? No, that isn't there. Spencer says, I'm happy to do research on external fraud for the disabled consumers if you would like that. I would suggest, Spencer, I think that's great, but I would suggest you speak to Steve Morel, the author and the person behind all of this. I just like it. I find it interesting, and that's why we share it on this show. But I think it's definitely worth getting in touch with him to see if that's something you and him could work on. Okay, IT attacks. concerns about external IT attacks by contact center size. And again, in the comments, have you or your center ever been the victims of an attempt or an actual attack? It is far more commonplace now than it ever has been. And you can see here, if we look at the average of all of the decision makers polled, 26% were very concerned, 38% were somewhat concerned, 25% were a little concerned, and only 11% were unconcerned. And again, the large contact centers have probably more reason to be more nervous, and that's reflected in their responses there. But external IT attacks in all of their different formats and guises, I'm sure, like me, you've all been through a lot of training on this. A lot of we had a great one once. It was like a video, like a fictional series you had to watch, and at the end of each episode, it had a message and a quiz. But it was actually really interesting. Some of the acting was a bit funny, but that made it captivating. Can't remember what it was called now. Something like not the Grey Man. Oh, it's gonna come back to me later on a dog walk, probably. Um, External IT attacks, is that something that gives you concern or not? Um, yes, but like I say, for next week's show, we're going to be getting into an interesting area. Now, I've only done one of these so far, but it was very well received. I am looking to put together another panel for a panel discussion. It might not be for next week, but certainly for the week after. If you are interested in coming on the show and being part of a panel, subject to be confirmed, either drop it in the comments or send me a message on LinkedIn. I'd like to get 3 of us, 4 of us in the studio, and we will have a little debate, of course, with everyone still in the comments. Darren, thank you for sharing. Darren, yep, in my previous company, one of the team got caught by an external IT fraud attack. Cost the business £600, but could have been far worse. We have a big focus on cybersecurity at my current place of work. Lots of training, particularly for CS, given the volume of customer contacts we handle. And you've reminded me, actually, we, as a leadership team in one of the companies I worked at, we all got sent a message, and it said from my iPhone from our CEO, please, I'm in a meeting, I need you to get some Apple vouchers for an incentive I want to run. And that was just sent to all of the remote leadership people. I didn't respond. I thought, oh, someone else will do that, even if it's real. But someone did kind of engage. Luckily, they didn't go through with the purchase because our CEO was pretty hot on replying and informing us. But these kind of things happen all the time, don't they? Yes. So let me go back. If you would like to be on a panel, and we have this little VT here. So if you would like to come on a panel discussion, and we could even determine amongst ourselves what that could be on, but I would like to get a panel diarised in, if not next week, then the week after. So please do let me know. Now, we're coming to the end of the show. Like I say, I've been asking a lot of you today. I do appreciate that. But if you know of any other companies that might want to be a partner going into 2025, please do send them my way. I do hope to see you at the expo. And if you know of anyone that might want to join the team leader community, then please do again send them my way. But it has been a really enjoyable session again. I can't believe how quickly time has gone. Here we go. Sorry, I'll just catch up. I was on my flight path down then, but here we go. I don't think a lot of employees understand the potential impact of external fraud or attack. Hence the annual compliance module groans. Yeah, very true. Very, very true. Kerry says, I've never done one before, but I'll be up for that for one that fell into my area of expertise. Kerry, we'd all like to hear you chat about anything. Um, so, Kerry, also well done on man of the match, player of the match. Sorry for your football at the weekend. I saw that on LinkedIn. Well done, you. So, yes, remember next Tuesday, 10 o'clock, we will be back here. Uh, as with anything, it might be the icebreaker, it might be the question of the day, it might be what we are up to do, what we're up for. Then please let me know if you would like a question asked or if you would like us to have a particular debate about something. This is your show. I'm just the curator. Um, so please do just let me know. Oh, good. Alan, yeah, this would be great, Alan. Ditto to what Kerry said. Never done one more, but be happy to have a go. Yeah, please do. Um, we still use man of the match. Yeah, with the girls' football, we are player of the match, but sometimes I will slip up. It's the same as man on as well, isn't it? Really. Um, Luckily, the whole reason that this show is done, Spencer's just written, bring Hugo with you next week. The whole reason this show is done at 10, genuinely, is because I know he'll be asleep. So we've done the morning walk. When this finishes, we go straight out again. So honestly, if he was here in the background, I wouldn't be as focused. And focus isn't always my friend. But thank you. I would love for him to be a bit more involved. Um, really enjoyed it as always. I hope you have too. I do appreciate you giving up some of your day to be here and chat. It's great to see a couple of new people drop in with some comments as well. I hope it's helpful. The recordings are always on LinkedIn, or when they drop off LinkedIn, which I think they do. Um, it's on YouTube. And as Katie says, thanks, Martin. Interesting session. Enjoy the TV tonight. It'll be an all nighter. Yes, it will. I will be watching all night. So if we have a meeting planned for tomorrow, don't expect too much. Thank you all very much. I've really, really enjoyed it. You're a wonderful, wonderful set of human beings, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the day.